We use a lot of Athena to inspire the brand and to elevate the brand and to take many characteristics that are found in her character and in stories to, to be encapsulated in what I would consider my artistic venture. In 2016, I was in sixth form, and I felt very frustrated with the fact that I had all these ideas and I had all these creative energies, but I had nothing to show for it. Even trying to enter conversations, oh, I know this, I know that, but I have nothing to show for it. And on top of which, there's a struggle of expressing yourself through your own style. So I started to design the brand. I did all the designs. I chose, like we previously mentioned, the Athenian aesthetic. So I did sketches, I took it into Photoshop, and I ended up with the logo actually by accident through not being able to fully do a line art of Athena. And all I was left with was the facial feature, and I was just like, amazing, what a great accident. This speaks volumes about everything that I'm trying to do here. The ungenderedness of my clothes versus the ungenderedness of Athena herself. So in 2017, I was at university, and I designed episode 1. I took some risk in the design, but I thought that this was the best way to, remove some symmetry from the face, and I thought that worked. And episode 1 is one of my personally most enjoyed collections. Then we moved on to episode 2, which was a collaboration with Amethyst, named episode 2 Ami. And this was a time where I was very protective over my brand, but I decided that I wanted to do a collaboration, and I wanted to do it with somebody that I really understood and, that I have I got a great love for. So it was just a no-brainer. We created episode 2, we went back and forth about designs. And it was at this time that I was getting feedback about price and quality, and people were telling me, something that I really internalized was that one person told me, you don't charge enough. And I sat and I thought about it, and I was like, wow, this is a different kind of compliment. This is somebody who's telling me, like, what I've created, I haven't put the right price on. And that took me to a different entrepreneurial space. I was thinking about, we need to maybe raise the price a bit, because you need to really value your stuff in a way where people respect it as well. And that is 2017. 2017 was, the launch of the brand, and there was definitely an aesthetic and an idea behind all of the collections. They were all very Athenian, they were all very genderless, they were all very anybody can wear this, and quite daring in a streetwear environment. Okay, so 2018, I began to realize that what I was doing wasn't sustainable. I felt letting my brand mature and experimenting with different ideas and different colors and different styles. Really, like when I took a step away from creating clothes, I realized that this wasn't sustainable, and it wasn't what I wanted to keep doing. Like, I couldn't see myself rinse and repeating this Athenian aesthetic for, years to come. I wanted this brand to be timeless. I wanted it to be relatable. I wanted it to be very human. And yet, you know, we're stripping away gender, we're stripping away a lot of things, and we're just looking at like raw concept or raw feelings. So Absence Of was released very late into 2018 because of that, because I really felt like we needed to just remove everything that we were doing and start fresh. And now, with the relaunch of the brand, I'm thinking a lot more about the culture. I'm thinking a lot more about dressing the culture. You know, the culture of London and working class, we dress in clothes that are cultural to us, but the providers of those clothes are not cultural brands. So, for example, a Nike tracksuit or an Adidas tracksuit, or more so a Nike tracksuit, is, you know, that is a London or British even working class cultural garment, but Nike does not create cultural clothes. In the same way, you know, I'm Moroccan. If I wanted to go get a traditional dress, you know, I'm going to go to somebody who sells for the culture. Now what I'm trying to do is create cultural clothes from a cultural place, a cultural brand. So going forth and into 2020 and in years to come, when the brand is relaunched, we're going to be looking at a lot more. How do we identify with our people? How do we elevate our people? And this goes back to that stark contrast of what Halak was and the aesthetic of it, and it was something that probably was a lot more high society. It was a lot more, it looked a lot more like luxury blended with streetwear. Now we're moving away from that and reclaiming a lot of these. They are simply like aesthetics. They do not belong to anyone, and we can reclaim them for whatever we like.